This is Philadelphia Eagles Now. My name is Chase Sr. The Eagles have lost 2 games in a row. Both of those defeats very concerning, and I know a lot of you have questions. I have answers, and a lot of you want to get your frustrations off your chest. So let's do that with the mailbag here. Excited to dive in and talk all things Eagles with all of the real ones and the people who are legends who have subscribed to this channel. Bryce Blackwell with a $5 super chat. The offseason losses, especially Isaiah Rodgers, are killing us. The coaching is bad. Teams know the offense and the defense is leaky. It feels a lot like 2023. Now, in 2023, to refresh your memory, the Eagles started 10-1, but a lot of those wins were very fluky. Then the Eagles' offense got exposed. They were vanilla. They were easy to predict. And then they lost 6 of 7 games at the end of the year. Here in 2025, Eagles started off 4-0, but a lot of those games, the Eagles were lucky to win. A lot of those wins were fluky. And the offense all year has been predictable. It has been very mundane. They have been inconsistent. They don't have an identity. They don't do anything well. They've kind of been exposed the last couple of games by the Broncos, by the Giants, and in the second half against the Bucs when Jalen Hurts did not complete a single pass. So I've been waiting to say this is a repeat of 2023, but there are some 2023 elements with the late season collapse to how the Eagles have started and played so far this season. I will say on defense, the Eagles are a lot more talented than they were in 2023. But against the Giants, that defensive effort, soft. 2023, what were the Eagles? Soft. And it's inexcusable. It's unacceptable. And some of the offseason losses have really hurt the Eagles. It was always a no-brainer to bring back Isaiah Rodgers. The Vikings signed him to a 2-year, $11 million deal. And I get letting Darius Slay go. But you let Slay and Rodgers go. And you replace those 2 players with Adoree Jackson, who stinks. Vic Fangio said before the year, he took a shot at Adoree. He said the Titans let him go, the Giants let him go for a reason. And we're seeing why. The guy's a scrub. Can't tackle, can't cover. Meanwhile, Isaiah Rodgers has the second highest coverage grade among all corners in the NFL, and the Vikings got him for a 2-year deal worth $11 million. Bad miss by Howie, and a rare miss by Howie. Keys, $5 super chat. Rushing ties directly to blocking. If we block, Saquon wins. The problem is the quarterback can't read the defense and has no accuracy. All right, so a 2-parter here. This Eagles offensive line has regressed severely this season. Landon Dickerson, when he was in the game, was not right and was not playing well. Cam Jurgens, offseason back surgery, he got a bag. Hasn't been good. Jordan Mailata, first couple of games was good. Last couple of games has not been good. Against the Giants, really struggled against some premier edge rushers. Against the Denver Broncos, really struggled against some premier edge rushers. Lane Johnson, dominant for so long, in and out of the lineup, banged up, and even he has struggled. We've seen the Giants and the Broncos with the likes of Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, and the Broncos, Jonathan Cooper, and Nick Bonito, really best Mailata and Lane. And so it has been a left-to-right collective failure for the Eagles offensive line. And for me, the run game comes down to this. I don't think it's a Saquon problem. Saquon, when he actually gets space, looks awesome. But the amount of times he's getting space is so extremely rare. And the yards before contact certainly backs that up. Last year, it was just under 4 yards before contact. This year, it's been around 1. And how many times has he had negative runs? It's because the Eagles' offensive line is getting blown up. As far as the Jalen Hurts portion of your super chat there, the quarterback has no accuracy. He can't read the defense. Look, I think Shane Steichen and Kellen Moore have done a good job in years prior of hiding Hurts' weaknesses. Against man, he is terrific. Literally, statistically, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. against zone, he really struggles. And when you're going up against a zone, you do have to read the defense a little bit more. Hurts has even said that and admitted that. You have to throw with anticipation and layer balls. He's not been able to do that. And so that's a little bit of a problem. Accuracy-wise, I don't think that's been a huge problem for him throughout his career. He has been a great deep ball thrower. This year, though, that has been lacking. Addison Hoover, $2 super chat. Hey, Chase, Howie needs to trade for a corner too. I agree. Howie Roseman, if you're watching, you need to make a trade for a corner too. You look at what the Jags did. They beat the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. They trade for Greg Newsome. Now, the Browns and the Jags kind of swapped starting corners. And for the Browns, that was more of a salary cap relief move. But the Jags understand, hey, we got something special going here. We need a better corner. Let's go get one. Keely Ringo can't play. He was okay against the Bucs, limited targets. Last 2 games, he's been really bad. And now that Quinyon Mitchell might be out with the hamstring injury for a long time, your level of confidence in Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson, very small. Howie traded for Jacorian Bennett on injured reserve. Don't even know what he can do. I think corner 2 is a huge problem for the Eagles. Another trade that I think Howie Roseman needs to make, trading for a pass rusher. This pass rush, non-existent. They can't get any production from the edge rusher spot. Jalen Hunt, 0 sacks. Nolan Smith, injured reserve. Zadarius Smith leads all edge rushers on this team with 1.5 sacks. The Eagles signed him after week 1. It's a problem. Money Mac, $2 super chat. Thoughts on elevating Britton Covey for punts and kickoff? I love it. And I know that Jahan Dotson has been sure-handed at punt returner, but Britton Covey in 2023 was one of the best producers as far as punt returners across the NFL. When he was at Utah, a little bit small, he just has a knack for picking up yards as a punt returner. And how often this year have the Eagles had poor field position to start drives? That's because of a lack of punt return juice. And these kickoffs, it's mystifying. The Eagles can't field a kick. I would put Britton Covey back there. You know that he can field it. You know that he can find lanes and pick up some yards. He's very talented in that regard. Elevate him from the practice squad. That's a move I think the Eagles should and have to make week 7 against the Vikings. Because special teams right now, as far as the return game, really hurting Philadelphia. Cody English, should we start Tanner McKee against the Vikings to send a message to Jalen like they used to do in the old days? They're not going to do it, and I don't think the Eagles have a quarterback controversy. I will say this, though. I'd be very interested to see what this offense would look like with Tanner McKee, because you'd be able to find out who the problem is and who's to blame. Is it Kevin Patullo? Is it Jalen Hurts? Now, right now, I think it's a little bit of both. But one thing that McKee does that Hurts does not do, throws wide receivers open, gives them an opportunity to make plays, will throw some 50-50 balls, and throws with better anticipation and layer some balls. Hurts doesn't really do that and struggles in those areas. So if the offense continues to sputter and Hurts continues to play poorly, I would make that decision more of a realistic choice. And I would think about it a little bit longer and harder, as difficult as that might be. Lion Fighter, even though there are 11 games left, I don't feel they are going to try anything different. Do you honestly? I think they will. You know, to Nick Sirianni's credit, they have done a pretty decent job of making some in-season adjustments. They started off as a pass-happy team in 2021. They turned into a run-heavy team. In 2022, you know, they were pretty damn good all year, but they became an explosive play offense, and they had great balance. Jalen Hurts was runner-up in MVP voting, but Miles Sanders that year had a career year. In 2023, They turned it over a lot, and they had no identity. In 2024, after a 2-2 start, they became a run-heavy team. So they have made in-season adjustments, and I think Sirianni knows this is one of his talents as a head coach, that they need to make some changes, and they need to alter some things and make some adjustments. You'd be insane to not. Currently rebranding. I do believe that Kevin Patullo is not it. Could we demote or fire Kevin Patullo and promote the quarterback's coach? That's really the only solution. Like, I don't think you can go with an external option here and have that be the end-all be-all in solving your offensive issues. I mean, what are you going to do? Hire John Gruden as an offensive consultant? That's one thing. I might do that, right? Hire John Gruden as an offensive consultant. Are you going to hire him as the offensive coordinator, an offensive play caller? I don't think that he can just come in not knowing this offense all that well, start calling plays, and you see immediate results, right? What other OCs are out there? There aren't many, because all of them have been scooped up. They're hired. They're employed because they're good. You know, if the Dolphins fire Mike McDaniel, he's done some nice things with the Dolphins. I know right now the offense isn't great, but I do like the creativity. I like how he's a Kyle Shanahan disciple. I'm a fan of the Shanahan offense. But what concerns me about McDaniel is that his teams were always soft against physical teams and in cold weather environments, which has been the opposite of where the Eagles have thrived. Slick, $5 super chat, last one. We have Mechie and Bigsby. Surely we can use them in negotiations and trading for a corner or a pass rusher. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, the Eagles already gave up 2 picks for Bigsby. Mechie couldn't see the field with Houston, can't see the field with the Eagles. Now, could he be a better wide receiver 3 than Jahan Dotson? Maybe. But I just don't know how much they'll bring you in a trade. Now, you're going to have to give up picks. And if you give up picks and maybe one of those players for a team that has a need for a running back, has a need for a wide receiver, those are options. But I don't think they're going to move the needle all that much. All right, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for daily, nonstop, year-round coverage of the Birds. Win or lose, I'm always here for you.